Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Kim with Creative Crafticality, and today I wanted to do a flip through of the two fairy journals that I've been working on. I just recently put out a video on some embellishments that I made for these, so if you want to go and check out that video, I'll have the link down below. But I wanted to show you these two. They are really, I think they turned out really pretty. I've never done this style before. It is kind of like a stacked, layered journal, and it's a tall and slim, so it's about, I think, about 11 inches or a little bit taller, and then about 4.5 wide. So it's a tall, slim one, and it's one signature. And like I said, I did it a fairy themed, so I have this one here that's kind of a blue and purple, and then it has a little bit of green mixed throughout, but mainly blue and purple. And then this one is a green and pink theme with a little bit of blue throughout as well. I used several of the same papers throughout, as far as I had some vintage wrapping paper, so I used a couple different sheets, the same in both. I used ledger paper, dyed papers, some scrapbook paper, and then I used a lot of different vintage laces and modern laces. I have this fun fringed, it's kind of like a chiffon ribbon. So I did blue on this one and green on this one. I also had some pinks in this one as well. I didn't have any purple, or I would have used that. So let's just go ahead and get started. I'll start with this purple and blue one. The tie is separate, so you can take it off. And on the front, I altered a paper clip with it, and then I made a little charm dangle. I'll just take it off here to show you. I did purchase on Amazon some fairy charms, and I'll put those linked down below. And then the other beads, I just had those in my stash. It's on a little lobster clasp, and I just attached it to the paper clip. And then I have this paper here of a flower fairy. I embellished with some flowers. These I had in my stash. I'm not sure. I think they may be from Joann's. I don't know. I had them in my stash. And then this butterfly, I have a Sizzix die. I think it's either Sizzix or the other company. I can't remember the name right offhand, but I made a butterfly out of that. And then on the inside, this is a pocket that I made from a lunch sack. I think these were from the Dollar Tree. And then I just stuck some Monopoly money and a tag that I had in my stash. This is some stained vellum that I made with, I think, some distress ink or food coloring, but I sprayed it on the paper. I've had this for a while. And then I put a sticker up here. I had a sticker pack of fairy themed, and it had butterflies and flower fairies. So I used that throughout both of these. In this one, I have a purple set, and then the other one, I had more of a pink set. And then this is from a little book of fairies. I'll try and link everything down below that I can. This was a little book of fairies that I found on Amazon. This is a vintage music sheet, vintage book page, and then I put a sticker there. I sewed a little belly band with scrapbook paper. And then this is a little tag, just something that I found in my stash. I found some vintage fairy cards, and so that's what's here. And I made a little pocket on the other side. This is some vintage wrapping paper. This was fun. I used a lunch sack, and I cut it down and made it into a little pocket that folds out, or like it opens up the bottom of the lunch sack. And I just taped the back to the page, decorated it a little bit, and it opens up like that. And I just stuck some little ephemera pieces in there and put some paper down in the bottom. So it just folds up nicely and flat. This is another vintage music sheet. I added some washi up there and then a sticker, and then these were the picture, like birds that were on the page already. On this side, I just added a sticker. This is some ledger paper. This was some watercolor paper that I had made previous, and then I added this is an old stamp that I just had in my ephemera, and then I sewed some crocheted lace on the side. This was a scrap from the fairy paper that I had on the front, so I just made a pocket out of it, added a little fairy, and then added this vintage to-do list to that. This was a vintage flower book, like a wildflower book. So I found one that had a blue and purple flowers and just thought that would look great in here, and then added a scrap of paper on the side as a tab. This is more vintage wrapping paper. It's really pretty, has all kinds of flowers and butterflies. And then on this side, this was one of the embellishments that I made in my previous video. Just has a couple tag or tickets in there, but it is a vintage book page that I folded into a pocket, sewed it, and added embellishments. This is a fairy coloring book, and that was on Amazon, so I'll go ahead and link that down below. I think it's a Dover. They're an older coloring book company, and you can still find them on Amazon. This is a watercolor page that I had made previously, a long time ago. This just, I try and make things and stick them in my stash so then I can go and find them for my journals. I stuck a little fairy sticker there, and then this was some really pretty stationery that I had. I don't know where I found that. Somewhere at a thrift store or something like that. This is some tea-stained notebook paper. I sewed some lace on the side, added some stickers at the bottom. And then up here, this was one of the embellishments that I made in my previous video. It's just an easy hidden altered paper clip. So I stuck a journaling card and some Monopoly money, and then a guest check on that side. Here is a fairy. I cut that from one of the fairy book pages. Here's some vintage ribbon that I had in my stash. It was super pretty. It has some purple flowers and kind of a blue background, so I thought it went perfect. And it's embroidered with some gold. I sewed it up at the top and the bottom of the page to make a belly band, so I just stuck some blue notebook paper in there. Here's the other side of the coloring book page. Some more washi. Here's the other side of the flower book page. And then this was some vintage lace that I had. It has like a kind of a country lavender, kind of a dark lavender ribbon going throughout it. I just thought that was a perfect color. And I've got a long thread there that I need to cut. Added another butterfly down there. And then this was a fairy postcard that I had. So I put that, I think I'll link that down below as well. There's several different of these. It's like a postcard book. It's actually the same author as the little fairy books that I told you about earlier. And I can't remember the name of them right now, but I'll put the link down below. And this is just a scrap of that watercolor paper. There's a sticker there and there. This is part of the songbook page. This was another embellishment that I made in my previous video. It's just a layered scrap embellishment. And then here I made another pocket out of a scrap of the watercolor paper, added in this vintage ticket, and then some washi. This is a pocket here. I didn't stick anything in there, but this is a vintage flower card. I'm not sure what it came in. It's when they used to include little cards and different things. Yeah, so, and then here are the last few pages, and then the last page is another pocket. Here's a fairy sticker there. This was just a neat little card. It's a bridge card, like to keep score. So just a little vintage game piece score card. And then here's the back. So I think these turned out really pretty. All right, there's that one. That will be in my Etsy shop. And then this one. Here's what the charm looks like. This one has like a moon, crescent moon with a fairy sitting on it, and these really pretty charms or beads. Now on this one, I had a set of these vintage looking frames. They're like a thick chipboard, and I didn't have one that looked good with the other book, so I didn't use it on there, but this one I thought went really well with this. I backed it with a vintage book page and then added a fairy sticker and a butterfly sticker, and then added one of the die cut butterflies there. This is actually a pocket. You can stick something in the side there if you wanted to. And then on the inside, I just made a pocket with some of the scrapbook paper. And then this is just an altered tag. This was one of the cluster embellishments that I made. This is an image from one of the book, not book pages, but the fairy books that it was a book page, but one of the fairy books. And I just glued her onto the side of that vintage book page. Now on this side is a belly band that I made with scraps, and just stuck a little tag in there. This is some avocado stained paper that I had in my stash. I added some stickers down there, and then some washi over here. And then I included this fairy greeting card. And then on this side I included a pink doily with a sticker, and that you can stick little things in there like that. And then here is a vintage music sheet page with a fairy sticker. That is the vintage wrapping paper. And then here is a little card that I made. I put one of the fairies from the fairy books there, so that just kind of a secret opening. And then it's also a pocket in here. This one was really pretty. I couldn't find very many music papers that that had any kind of, this was the closest with the butterfly, and then the other book had flowers, but this was as close as I could get to a fairy music sheet. On this side I put some stickers. This is a vintage postage stamp, just of a rose. I put it over top some scrapbook paper there, and then I sewed some lace down the side. And on this side I made a little pocket with some scrapbook paper. These are cutouts from a wildflower book, and then this is a cut apart from the fairy scrapbook paper. And I altered a library card just that simple butterfly die cut. Up here is a little tab that I sewed on and added a sticker, and this is a wildflower book page. Here is another lunch sack, altered lunch sack that I made into a little pocket there. And I just included a vintage playing card and some tabs that fit in there. This one was just a plain pink lunch sack, so I used some scrapbook paper and just layered it up on there. But I just love how this makes a really nice size little pocket and just folds flat. Of course, you couldn't put like really thick things in there, or it just wouldn't fold flat, but you know, you could probably get like 10 little die cuts in there or something like that. On this side is another piece of scrapbook paper and a cutout fairy, and it just makes a little pocket on the side. I added a little sticker there of a fairy. This is one of the fairy book pages that I kept intact and just folded it on one edge and glued it down and just made it so you can open it up like that with a little tab. And then here's a coloring book page. This is a really fun vintage lace on the side there. And then on this page, this is where I added the little pocket that I had shown you in the previous video. Sorry, my voice is really bad today because I've been sick, so I apologize for that. So there's that one. I added some scrapbook paper, a sticker, and then a butterfly. Here's the other side of that doily. So I made that a little pocket, stuck tickets there, and then I added some more stickers there. This is some crocheted lace on the side there. And then this is another fun embellishment that I didn't include in the other one. It's a big doily, a round one, probably a 12-inch doily, I think, or maybe a little bit smaller. But it's tied up with this, some of the chiffon ribbon, and it just opens up like that. I just have a journaling card in here, but I decorated it with some scrapbook paper, and a fairy. So that's just kind of like a little hidden interactive spot in the book. And I'll just go ahead and tie it back up here. I did add a sticker on the side. It's not laying very flat. Not sure how I got it the last time. That's fine. I'll have to mess with that a little bit. Here is another tag. These are just some tags. You've seen several of them in this book and the other one. I've had these forever in some kind of scrapbooking kit, and yeah, they're just some little tags. So I just added a sticker, and this is a guest check. Here is one of the postcards, and I just sewed it at the top and the bottom to make a pocket and put in some pink notebook paper there. And then this is some vintage wallpaper that I had. I just made a little strip for a belly band and added in a flash card, the sticker there. Here's the other side of the music sheet paper, and another pretty butterfly on that side. Here is the hidden paper clip that I made, and I added another vintage playing card and some Monopoly money, and then a butterfly down at the bottom. On this side, I just included this little die cut tag and added a butterfly and some of the chiffon ribbon. This was a tag that I had in my stash. I'm not sure. I think I may have gotten that in a swap. And I just put it like on the corner. I put some glue so this makes a little tuck spot. This is a little pocket here, and then this little pocket there, and then here's a belly band. And this is the inside of the back cover. It's just a pocket, and then I altered this little tag here with some scrapbook paper and ribbon. And then that's the back cover. So yeah, I think these turned out really pretty. Very different from what I normally work on. They're kind of on a shabby chic, botanical, fairy theme, all that kind of mixed in. Of course, my shabby chic is kind of minimal compared to what of a lot of people's shabby chic, but this is more of like a botanical, or definitely the fairy theme. So hopefully you enjoyed these. Hopefully they'll give you some inspiration for your journals. If you're interested in them, I will have them listed in my Etsy shop. And if you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up, leave me a comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you again next time. This is Kim with Creative Crafticality. Bye. God bless.